Have you ever experienced anti-Semitism personally, directly?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think aside from just your standard kind of like high school, middle school jokes that you grew up with as, in a place where there weren't a ton of Jews, which was the case for me.
And the odd swastika on the
Yeah,
mailbox, right?
yeah, and just that kind of stuff. I mean, I went to school in Western Pennsylvania, so I met people in college who had never met Jews before, and would ask all sorts of outlandish questions about how I live my life and if I had horns and that kind of stuff. I mean, that stuff was floating around even when I
How do
was
you
in
clean the tail? How do you
college.
clean the tail? I gotta
Yeah,
learn.
and also, like maybe some animosity about what we did to Jesus, a couple thousand years ago and that sort of thing. And so I think I was always secure enough in the sort of social circles I operated in my own Judaism that I never perceived anti-Semitism as a really big threat to me. But it was more like something that was really uncomfortable, like somebody just being rude to me for no reason, than viewing it as like this big systemic threat. As a political journalist, it became a little bit scarier because sometimes I would write things that would sort of draw the ire of the kind of anti-Semitic left or right, and getting emails with like pictures of Jews getting thrown into ovens from random anonymous Gmail accounts and stuff is kind of scary, especially when you have an online profile and it's not hard to find somebody's address or phone number or whatever.
Right.
So in my adult life, in my professional life, I think the kind of anti-Semitism I've seen is a little bit scarier, but it typically doesn't really shake me up too much. I think I just sort of write it off sometimes as the deranged corners of the internet, even as it's becoming more mainstream. So maybe that's a little naive on my part, but
Did Jews get upset with you also about what you write?
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm sure we're going to talk about this. I mean, I wrote a piece about Kanye West and anti-Semitism, and that piece alone upset a lot of Jews. I mean, I heard from a lot of people who were upset. I defended Dave Chappelle's monologue about the Kanye West situation on SNL, which
That
I
was great. I love
yeah,
how
I
you
th-
opened
I
it.
thought it was an excellent monologue. I thought it was funny. I thought he hit a lot of notes that were important to hit, and he did it in a very Dave Chappelle way. And I had a former coworker who was a journalist turned comedian who is Jewish, who was really upset with me and basically, told me in a very condescending way to put my listening ears on because I wasn't grasping the damage that Dave Chappelle had just done, to Jews across the world, which I totally don't buy. So yeah, I certainly, and I write a politics newsletter, which inevitably means I have to write about, Republicans and Democrats and Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu, and anytime you put an opinion out about any of that stuff, you're going to piss some people off. So it happens for sure.